So we're having a look at 2014 Toyota Corolla. 2014 Toyota Corolla. So the first thing that we do is just to walk around the car and see if there are scratches. We're just inspecting this car. It's got a reverse sensor. So this is 2014 Toyota Corolla. 2014 Toyota Corolla sedan. So we just come to the owner's place and we're just having a look at this car. Looking around the engine, no oil leaks. The engine is a bit dirty, but it's no leaks. The battery is good, as you can see, it's green. See, the engine looks good. So the first thing that we're gonna do is to open the oil cap and make sure it's not very dirty and it's not milky. So the oil looks good, the oil cap looks good. Then we check the oil dipstick and just wipe this off and make sure it's not running low on oil. It looks good. Then just open the radiator cap and see if the radiator, the coolant is clean. It looks clean. It's no mixture of oil and coolant, which is not good. It's not a good sign. So we haven't started this car already. We are just having a look at the radiator cap and looks good, and check the reservoir. And it's clean. Everything looks all right. So also remember to check the driving belts. This is very important. Make sure it's not weary and very old. So this one looks good. So we're just inspecting 2014 Toyota Corolla. The Toyota, they are known for reliability. So, but you still have to pay much attention to the engine, because if you have to do engine repair, it's usually a big job. So pay much attention to the engine. And the owner said that the aircon works good. So we're gonna find out. Sometimes the owner might tell you that the aircon needs regas. So this is how you check it out. So the aircon doesn't need gas, so it's all good. Make sure you look at the windscreen. So to replace a windscreen in Australia is you'll be looking at, depending on the company, but generally you should be looking at over $200. So if there is a crack on the windscreen, it's a safety issue. So we're just gonna have a look at the interior of the car, and we've got a scanner here. It's called OBD scanner, Foxwell. This is engine scanner. Is recommended if you're going to check a used car. So this is gonna tell you if there is an engine issues, there are codes, permanent codes or temporary codes. So we just stick it under here, the OBD scanner, and just press it, and this is going to tell you what is happening in the engine. So remember to turn the
Another big one is polyethylene chemical.
turn it on and see what is happening. So it's still connecting. The OBD scanner is still connecting to the engine of the car, and it's gonna be telling us what is happening when it's ready. So it's gonna read codes. So we're going to codes. So we're going to read codes. Remember, sometimes some sellers might have this OBD scanner and they might have an engine light on and they will just clear it. So this is what they do. They just stand here and erase the code. So this is why it's very important for you to also have a look at the engine using your own OBD scanner. In that case, it's good to run the car for a while, start the engine and run it for a while, because usually the code might come back if the owner didn't fix the problem. So in this case, we're just gonna read. So in this case, we're just gonna read the code. So just click the code. So just click on this and check stored code. So there's no code in this car. Click on this and check stored code. So there's no code in this car. It's good. Usually, if the engine light is not on, then the owner must have cleared it or disconnected it. So walk away. If you can't find the engine light when you turn the key, not when you started the car, but when you turn the key, then it's good, right? When you turn the key, not when you started the car, but when you turn the key, then it's good. So this one, these lights are on, and we are just going to start the car and see what is happening with the engine. Has got a reverse camera. So this is the reverse camera, which is good. Some buyers will be asking for this. The interior is good, it's clean. The handbrake works, which is good. So it's got indicator lights. This is a safety thing, so make sure you check these things before you drive the car. Don't just enter and drive without checking these things. Could land you in a lot of problems. So make sure the indicator lights work. This is the right side, so we're going to have a look at the left side indicator lights. That works. So look at the back and see what happens. It works. So we'll have a look at the headlamp. Like I said, this is a safety check. It's one of the first things that we do while the car is running. So one of the reasons that we run the car before we drive is to make sure that the engine doesn't cut off while driving, because that's very, very dangerous. So you run the car for a while. We've already negotiated with the owner that we're gonna do this video, and the owner is happy with that. So we're going to take our time to inspect this car and show you the things that we do before we buy any car. This is 2014 Toyota Corolla. So we're just having a look at the headlamps and they look all right. So we're gonna check high beam. I'm working alone today, so the workers will be back on Monday. So that's why I'm doing everything alone, trying to make sure that you gain as much as possible. So we're gonna look at the back lights and make sure that everything works before we go for a drive. So look at the boots, the back of the car. I'm gonna look at all the windows. The windows are good, so there's no issues with the windows. The windows are good. So while the car is running, we're also looking at the coolant, what the coolant is doing on the coolant reservoir. And make sure it's not boiling up and down. So don't open the radiator while the engine is running. If you ever want to do that, you have to be very, very careful, because it can spill, and it's usually very hot, especially when the engine has run for a long time. So we're going to check the temperature of the car. Look at the dashboard and just have a look. The temperature of the car, it's still okay, still good. So I'm not suspecting any overheating issues here. I'm not suspecting any overheating issues here. Getting Gavin is asking, how much is 2011 Toyota Corolla Conquest with 250,000 kilometers? Well, this sort of car in a good condition, we are going to be offering you 7.5 for it. Good condition, because it's got a little bit of kilometers on it. So we're gonna check the tires of the car. We haven't driven this car, we're just having a look at the safety things. So the front right tire is good. The tires are good. You know, the funny thing in Australia is, if you are going for a drive and you're having a car with bad tires, you're having a a car with bad tires, it's illegal to drive a car with bad tires. It's illegal to drive to check, inspect the car, make sure it's good before you pay. It's the buyer's responsibility. So that's why what we are doing now is very, very important. So we're running the engine now for like 10 minutes and it's still going on well. Still going on well. I want to talk about something that is very important about the radiator coolant. Sometimes if the car is overheating, you won't notice that immediately until after some times. And we're just gonna check the radiator fan. So make sure. So the fan at the moment is not running. It hasn't come on. It hasn't turned on. Usually it should turn on its own. So the car has not been heated up enough to trigger the radiator fan. So what I will do now is I'm going to check this fan to make sure it's working. So I'll just go and turn on the aircon. Just turn on the AC and now see what the fan is doing. So the fan is on now, which is good. Now sometimes when you turn off the AC, if the engine is hot enough, the radiator fan should come on, and sometimes if there are issues with it, it's not gonna come on. So it might also lead to overheating issues in the car. If this radiator fan is not turning on, the car will overheat. It's gonna overheat. So this is one of the things that we check while the car is running. No smokes from the engine. If you are inspecting a used car and there is a smoke coming from the engine, it's better to inspect it further. We advise people to ring a mechanic if you want. If you find something that is very confusing or something that you think might be an issue for you in the future when you buy the car, you can ring a mechanic or call a mechanic to help you to inspect the car. So we are inspecting 2014 Toyota Corolla and everything looks all right for now. We're running the engine to see if there is an overheating issues, if the radiator is leaking, because sometimes when the engine heats up, you can see if the radiator is leaking, which will start popping up. But sometimes when the engine heats up, you can see if the radiator is leaking, which will start popping up. The water will start. So we are very patient. The engine is not shaking much. If the engine is shaking, it could be that your engine mount is bad, or maybe the plugs needs changing or the coil packs. So this engine is not shaking too much. It's normal. Everything looks good at this stage. We always advise people to drive the car for at least 20 minutes after inspecting the car while it's running. Drive it for like 20 minutes to make sure that the transmission is good. Sometimes if the car heats up while driving, the transmission might start slipping. So it's good to make sure that you drive the car for at least 20 minutes to avoid regrets, and make sure that the brakes are good before you drive. You check the brakes before you drive the car. Check the brake pads. Just have a look and see if the pads are worn out or gone. Then just enter and drive. Safety first. Make sure that you are safe, that others on the road are safe while you inspect the car, while you drive the car. So this is a live segment, how to inspect a used car, coming to you from Australia. We are basically in Newcastle in New South Wales. Yes, I believe you set in Govin. He said Toyota Corolla engine is bulletproof. That's right. You know, these cars they are very reliable, and people that own it are happy. Most people, we love buying the Corollas. We also love buying Camrys. Toyota Corolla 2014. The engine is still running good. The engine is not overheating yet. We are not expecting it to overheat. We've checked the radiator coolant. Everything is good. We're just gonna have a look at the dashboard. See if there are lights that is on. So there's no engine light on while the car is running. It's not overheating. The temperature gauge is still good, showing the outside temperature, which is good, and the kilometer is good. And also, while you're inspecting a used car, try to do a VIN check. Try to verify the VIN to make sure that the owner is actually the owner of the car. So in Australia here, it's called PPSR checks. So you run the VIN check and make sure that the owner is actually the owner. If the owner is selling the car, to you, it's better. If the owner is not around and sending someone to sell the car to you, maybe a relative or a friend, you have to be careful, be very, very careful. So you don't buy a car and then police comes and takes it back from you. You have to be very, very careful. Verify the VIN number. Check the VIN number, confirm the paperwork. Make sure that the owner is actually the true owner of the car. So this car, the owner is asking for $12,500. $12,500. So, well, we're not gonna pay $12,500 for this car. Even though the engine runs good, we have to negotiate. So we believe in the saying that you get out of life what you negotiate, not what you want. So we are going to negotiate. We must negotiate. And most times we get good deals. I'm going to talk a little bit about negotiation tips. So to negotiate, you always have to bear in mind that the seller will be asking for more money. And that's right, that's not a bad thing. So what we do is to look around the car and see if there are issues that we need to fix, and then we can list it and show the list to the owner and see if we can get a good deal from that. Another thing we do is to look at the current price of the car online, because sometimes some sellers don't even know the value of their car, so the car might be listed below the market value. So We do our research before coming for an inspection. We do our research and make sure that we're offering the right price. If the buyer says no to our price, there's no problem. We walk away. We are not buying a car to drive for ourselves. We are buying a car to sell and make money. We are buying a car to help people to get around and make a little bit of money from it. So if the seller says no, we just walk away. Don't fall in love with any car that you want to flip. This is one of the biggest mistakes that car flippers make. They will see a car that they will usually use and they will fall in love. And once you become emotional with the car, you are likely to pay more for it. Because once the owner finds out that you love the car, it's a done deal. The owner will make sure that you pay more for it. So don't be emotional. Don't be emotional. If the price is not good for you, just walk away. Remember, you make your money when you buy the car, not when you sell it. So try as much as possible to avoid being emotional with any car. No matter how good, how new the car is, how you love the car, don't be emotional. So this is 2014 Toyota Corolla. We are just inspecting the car down in Newcastle in New South Wales in Australia. So we are just running the engine to make sure there is no surprises. We make sure that we buy good cars. We love our customers and we make sure that our customers are happy. So we're just running the engine at this moment, and stay running the engine. See what the coolant reservoir is doing while the car is running. Still looks clean. So I don't have any worries about this car. No worries about this car at all. The engine is good, the body is good, the lights are working, the belts are good, there's no wear and tears, runs good, the engine is not shaking, the oil is clean, the temperature gauge is good, all the indicator lights are working, the aircon is very cold, the heater works. We just have to look under the hood and see if there's oil leak. No oil leaks. No oil leaks. So this car is, for me, immaculate. Not worried about anything. Although I haven't driven it, I have to drive this car to give it a pass my bet. As it runs now, the car is good. Make sure you don't praise the car before the owner. Otherwise, you're gonna be paying a lot of money for it. And when you negotiate, don't be too negative about the car. So what we call it, we give you milk, we give you sugar, we give you honey, and then we give you bonus. So we praise the car, we talk about the positive aspect of the car, and also talk about the negative aspect of the car. That's how we negotiate. If you talk about negative, most owners will be pissed off and they will ask you to get out. They will get angry with you. So because this is their valuable asset or belongings, so you can't just be bashing it around. So try to be nice to the owner and try to make sure the owner is also happy, because that's how you get a good deal. If the deal is not good, walk away. Remember, you are buying to make money. So everything looks good. The car has been steaming for over 15